Thank you. Thanks for accepting my request. What it is, this has been something I've been interested in for quite some time now. We know that the practice is potentially is quite normal for someone from India. Because for an Indian, for example, and you maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but for an Indian, this question is not it's not the usual question. You will always start with the right foot forward, the right hand forward. The right is always the first one you make an action with, or you have that approach. And this is, I suspect this is quite ingrained in the culture, in the Indian culture, and as well as in the yoga practice in India. I mean, just to make a parallel, for example, if you go to Cuba and you want to practice Cuban salsa, in the dance, the man always starts with the left. So it's part of that culture and that practice. That things will be done in such a way. Now, coming back to the yoga practice, clearly most practices will take the same approach, where the right side goes first, and especially when you practice polarity, hatha yoga, asana, you have the practice on the left and you have the practice on the right, so you have the two sides to focus on, and there are a number of asanas you can do on both sides. So you have Natarajasana, for example, where you stand on the right foot and you hold the left foot with your left hand, and the right hand goes forward. And also you have Janushasana, which is that practice, which is like a halfway of Paschimottanasana. So you sit down, and then you bend your right knee, and then you have your left foot and left leg stretched out, and you hold on to the left toes, and obviously you do that on the first and then on the other side. Now, it's quite confusing for me, at least. For some other people may not be confusing, but it's quite confusing for me why some books are explaining this, that you should do first on the practice of Janushasana. You should do first with the left leg stretched and the right one bent, so that the right knee is bent. So you approach that practice that way. I was expecting the other way. So I would expect the first the first one out of the two, and correct me if I'm trying to explain this polarity practice, but I would expect the first one to be the one where you have the right foot, right leg outstretched, and the left knee bent, and then you obviously you lean towards your right toes to catch them with your hands, and stay there for a while, and then practice on the other side. Does it make sense? Sorry.
Yes, it does. No, that's a good explanation, actually. So what we got here, Costin, just to kind of make it more confusing for you, I hope, that we got the three different concepts of Hatha yoga here you got together in last minute or two. Okay, so it's not actually one concept of practice. So the first concept of practice, as you mentioned, about the polarity. So we got the loma-viloma, or the surya-chandra, the right, left, positive, negative. So we got the right side of the solar energy, left side of the lunar energy. So in Hatha yoga, the first approach we follow is how do we activate or enhance that polarity. So in that way, then any posture that you got, that is, there is a clear vision. Like say if you are in the Savasana and you're following the loma-viloma sequence, you're doing the right leg, you're doing the left leg, you're doing the right hand, you're doing the left hand. So there is a clear distinguish between the right and left. So that practice would be to activate the polarity on the right side and the left side.
Yep.
And we have the second concept of the practice, that is what we call the Siva and Sakta concept. So in the Siva and Sakta concept, we slightly reverse that principle into how do I reverse the energy flow, or how do I transcend that polarity. So the polarity really is the part for, to me, I say, like for people like you and me, household people who would love to live the optimum health, optimum well-being, we would take the Hatha Yoga path of polarity. Yeah. Then the sadhus, if you want to become a monk and your ultimate goal is to totally transcend everything, then their principle of Hatha Yoga is the Siva and Sakta. So the Sakta and the Sakti, Sakta and Sakti is to actually reverse the polarity. So you're reversing the solar energy and the lunar energy, and to transcend that, so the energy begin to flow back in through the chakras and upward towards the crown. And that's where all the folded leg positions will come into the hand. So that's where I think your confusion is about. If you are in Janu Sirsasana or even Vrksasana, the tree pose. Yep. If I'm standing in tree pose on my right leg with my left foot fold up, or in Janu Sirsasana, if my right leg is stretched, so then what I'm doing, I'm activating the polarity, the loma, the surya energy of the right side, and I'm then transcending the Sakti or the left side of the energy. Right. So here it's the concept, actually the polarity concept of right and left, it's not really there anymore. So in that, because of that reason, then you would want to transcend the right side, the solar energy fed. So you got the left leg straight and then the right foot fold. Yeah. So that's where the situation, the concept flips into the opposite side. So we always do the right side first in the primary practice when only the right or left involved, because right side is connected with the Surya, the solar energy. And the way the Tantra explains, for the moon does not have its own energy. Yeah. So it takes the energy from the sun. So we want to activate the sun, the Surya energy. So the moon gets the radiance, and then you activate the moon energy, the left side energy. And when we fold our legs or feet inward in any posture, and that will include your Natarajasana, because even though, like, maybe I don't know about you, but I'm not really able to bring my foot above my head. So your foot rests back on your head. So then actually you're folding the leg behind. So in a way, if I'm standing on the right leg, I'm activating the loma energy, the solar energy of right side, and I'm transcending the Sakti, the energy of the left side that flows into the chakra. And when I'm standing on the left foot, then I'm activating the Viloma energy, the lunar energy, and I'm transcending the Siva or the energy of the right side. So there are two different concepts we are talking here. One is the loma-viloma, and then the second is Sakta and the Sakti variation or the aspect of Hatha Yoga practice. And then we go into the totally third concept, the third principle, where we have a total transcendence. We call it the sannyasa, or in the Nath and the Agori tradition we have in India, they practice that quite a lot, where they actually follow it in a totally other way around. So even if you do your relaxation, like normally we have the practice moving from toes to head, isn't it? In that concept, then they will move from head down towards feet. So if I was to do the loma-viloma series in their principle, then I will do head lift, left hand, left leg, right hand. And that is actually to move from the physical dimension into the cosmic or the astral dimension. Now, normally the yogis or the rishis, like in the practices, they would not really teach it into the public or into the audience, because getting the access to the astral or the akashic element is not really healthy for the household people. No. In a way, it's almost, it will regress us into the vairagya, it will regress us into the transcendence. So they never really taught it publicly. But in your practice, I think Swami Geetananda Giri, if you go through the step-by-step course, where he talked about the marmisthanam, which I was really surprised to actually picked that point a couple of years ago. He also talks about people who are interested into the astral experiences, then they will start the visualization from head down and they go down towards the feet or the toes. So does that make sense? So we got 3 different principles.
Yep.
So in the right and left concept, then when we come to the transcendence, then you can choose to go with the right or left. Again, you will start with transcending the right side ideally. And this is why you got the left leg straight and then the right leg forward.
So for the household, just to recap, so I get it easy, I get it right in my head. For the household, if I want to do Jnandev, obviously I go for activating the right side.
Yeah.
And for Jnandev to activate that right side, I bend my right knee.
No, you bend your left knee first. Then.
I bend my left knee. I keep my right leg stretched out, and then I lean towards the right right toes. I catch my right toes with my hands, with both my hands. Fine. So that is for the household. The other approaches obviously are less common, so I'm not going to go into detail, but obviously you
that's worth to understand. I think for you, for anyone, it's worth to know that, and if you switch it around, then that will reverse the energy flow.
I understand.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's really kind of you to explain it. It's really clear now, and it helps as well when you read books. Obviously, some books are written one way, some books are written the other way, but they don't explain why they're written this way. They just leave the reader into a little bit of a hiatus. So this is really clear now. Thanks, Jnandev. It's
I think also the problem with, you see, this sort of concept, they are so complex and they are like multi-layered concepts. So it's not actually really the one concept. They are like concept that layered on the one and another, and until and unless we separate them totally, they are very confusing.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think we need to understand the cultural element first, because without that we can't really put it into the context. So yeah, it's really appreciated. Thank you.